The Big Bang Theory spin-off starring Georgie and Mandy will impact the final chapter of the Cooper family's story in Young Sheldon Season 7. The plot of Young Sheldon Season 7 will be affected by the spin-off involving Georgie and Mandy. The cancellation of Young Sheldon was not caused by a lack of interest. Instead, the spin-off will conclude the storyline of the family. Season 7 of Young Sheldon doesn't have to center on Georgie and Mandy, even though their tale is well executed. The storyline of Young Sheldon's 7th season will be affected by the spin-off involving Georgie and Mandy. A new series set in the same universe as the original The Big Bang Theory is revealed, starring Montana Jordan and Emily Osment as Georgie and Mandy, right before the original series concludes its run on CBS. George and Mary's family had a rocky road leading up to the birth of their first child, baby Cece, but they are so happy to have her here now. A new series will now center on the trio, allowing their journey to continue. The cancellation of Young Sheldon was not because no one was interested. Season 6's record-breaking viewership made the original announcement of the show's cancellation both heartbreaking and puzzling. Still, despite the spin-off's many infractions of the Big Bang Theory canon, the authors maintained that it stayed true to the original. There are a lot of unresolved storylines involving Sheldon's family, including Georgie and Mandy's time as parents, but because their time in Medford, Texas is coming to an end, they figured it would be fitting to wrap up all of their arcs at once. Young Sheldon's best original plot is Georgie and Mandy. Young Sheldon did a great job bringing Georgie and Mandy's story to life. Expanding on what is known about Sheldon's life was the primary idea for Young Sheldon. As an origin story, CBS staged it years before he came to California, during his last stretch of youth in Texas. It was only fitting that he brought his family members, the majority of whom had made their debut on The Big Bang Theory, along with him. Focusing more on Sheldon's family was one way that Young Sheldon evolved from its original concept into a legitimate family comedy. That meant Georgie had an affair with Mandy, which blossomed into something more serious when they found out they were unexpectedly pregnant. The narrative of Georgie and Mandy isn't particularly original, but the way Young Sheldon told it, particularly considering how unimportant they were when they initially started dating, is what makes it interesting. Only towards the very end of the show did Georgie make an appearance on The Big Bang Theory. In contrast, Mandy was given absolutely no attention whatsoever. The creators of Young Sheldon were thus free to explore their creative vision without the constraints imposed by the nerd-centric sitcom, which is often a positive thing. Season 7 of Young Sheldon can affect anything other than Georgie and Mandy. The time for Sheldon and Missy is going to be less. Even before the spin-off news was out, fans assumed that the prequels last year would center on Georgie and Mandy. After much back and forth, they ultimately got engaged in the 6th season finale of Young Sheldon. Now, they have to figure out how to be parents and organize their wedding. Some have even speculated that the show will end happily ever after with the couple's wedding. There is no longer any expectation that Young Sheldon Season 7 will provide a fitting conclusion to their journey, since it will continue after Sheldon leaves Medford. That time can instead be used by other characters whose fates are still up in the air in the Big Bang Theory prequel. They can make up for the fact that Young Sheldon hasn't had a meaningful personal arc by reuniting him with Dr. Sturgis. A new, less tragic plotline is in the works, and Missy finally has a chance to be redeemed. Paige can finally have a satisfying cliffhanger in Season 7 of Young Sheldon. Unveiling the future of Georgie and Mandy through the lens of The Big Bang Theory, there isn't much hope for Georgie's future with Mandy. Due to his late arrival, the eldest Cooper kid didn't get much screen time on the nerd-centric sitcom The Big Bang Theory. Still, there's a lot we know about Sheldon's destiny thanks to Young Sheldon and its parent series. To begin, he will go on to become a prosperous businessman and the founder of Dr. Tire, the biggest tire shop in Texas. Second, he and Sheldon will be estranged since he plans to assume control of the family after George's untimely death. When it comes to his romantic life, he and Mandy will probably get married in the end, but their affair won't be for long. It is unknown what happened to Mandy and Cece following their breakup, but Georgie would go on to have more spouses. The couple gets back together in the end, which is the best-case scenario, but whether the next Young Sheldon spin-off fixes that by showing it to the audience after the fact is unclear.